Good day, mates. Welcome to another exciting episode of Podcast of Gugabe. I'm Gugabe. That is not Gugabe over there. And I think we're having a recap of Ngannou Zombie and looking at the upcoming UFC Minnesota, I think, Minneapolis.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
So, try to think what's the slate for... Alright, quickly, Ngannou Zombie. Let's start from the bottom. Win versus Spicely. That was a bit of a mess for a fight. I feel pretty happy with my Spicely decision plays, even though it hit. You know, I had got Spicely decision at 10-1. And I got the over. I had about 4 units on the over, and I think 3 units on the over at -110, which felt very easy. I don't know. I just... probably a bit sharp on win, but it's just what it is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, sorry to the listeners, we were having issues earlier, but I think Win kind of popped his output up a little bit, which is good, but I just feel like he's too hittable, and eventually he's going to get kind of lit up by a good fighter. But he'll be like in some fun fights, I feel, but he's just too small.
Yeah, he's Cormier in both the good ways and in the bad ways, but he's fighting better people. He is not quite as freakish an athlete as Cormier, and until we've sort of seen it proven, his chin's probably not in Cormier's level.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it. Maybe he can like improve because he is super young in his career. I mean, I will give him props in the fact that he's really only fought Lawler and Spicely, and that's kind of impressive to like get through two guys like that when you've pretty much had no other real fights. But at the same time, I just don't see how he could beat some of the top middleweights, you know?
Or even somewhere like Darren Stewart or something. If it's just like, if you're just that hittable, you're going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
McCann Lipsky, I actually missed this because I misset my alarm, and UFC starts very early over here in Kangaroo Lands, but I heard Monty McCann just sort of made Lipsky look like regional WMMA trash.
Yeah, I had the fight goes the distance because it was like -175 or something, and like a striking only fight. I feel like usually those are the ones that go to the cards, but yeah, pretty much McCann kind of just dominated her. It was funny. A lot of people were playing Lipsky even at like -220.
Like, admittedly, my instinct would have been to play Lipsky. I didn't because I was like -220, fuck that. But I thought Lipsky would walk it, to be honest. Like, I didn't really do any taping. I just saw the price and I was like, yeah, fuck it.
I thought Lipsky was going to win, but I was not. Like, I thought the value is, I mean, I'm not even saying this in hindsight. Like, if I was forced to play, I would have just taken the dog. But like, if it was even money, I would have played Lipsky, you know. But at the same time, that like -300 or -200 to 300 in a exclusive, for the most part, striking type of fight, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's fine. I think that with women's MMA, kind of, you think your striking edge is almost worth more because you're not going to get randomly knocked out so much.
Yeah.
And there's less chances of random guard arm bars.
I just feel like in striking fights where there's not like an outrageous mismatch, that it just kind of, I don't know. Like, I just feel like if it's kind of, it's hard to differentiate yourself sometimes because there's not that much power. So it can kind of just be like who does well at the end of rounds sometimes.
That's volume, I guess.
Yeah, because I feel like even Hill and Jan's a good example because I feel like at times Jan would be like clearly winning, and then Hill would have maybe like a minute and a half success towards the end, and then it's like, did she steal the round? Because it's hard to really take a commanding lead.
Yeah, great. I was on Hill. I gave Jan that fight, but in that last 1 minute, I was like, "Holy shit! Has Hill just stolen this?" Like, I felt Jan won that fight. But I was like, going into that decision.
Yeah,
Hill was live to steal that decision.
Yeah, I played Jan, and I thought I did think she won. Like, I thought it was the right decision, but I would have been fine with Hill taking it, and Hill is definitely the value side. That's kind of the way I saw it. Like, I felt like an idiot after picking Jan. So
I honestly felt the opposite. I felt like Jan was a value side, but I felt like Hill just kind of had the right ending to it, I guess.
Yeah, like, I could see that because Jan really was like a much better striker. So but yeah, like, even if you're it kind of makes my point. Like, even when you're the way better striker, you can still like just keep it close. If you keep it somewhat close, you can just kind of steal rounds later. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Rosenstruik versus Crowder. I'm just gonna say meme heavyweight shit. To be honest, I had the over for like over 1 round. I don't think Crowder dying to literally the first jab is a consistent outcome. I'll leave it at that.
Agreed. I still think Rosenstruck would probably win that the majority of the time, but it's hard to know for sure after something like that. I didn't have any action here.
It's heavyweight. Honestly, if Crowder had done the same thing to him, it would have been honestly almost just as likely.
Yeah.
Pena versus Wyman.
Why did this go an extra 2 rounds like after the first round?
I put a unit on Pena KO at last minute, like I think plus 400 or something like that. Let me just check what price I got. And I was just like, he's been off for 5 years and he was never particularly defensively sound or anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got plus 375 for Pena KO. I only put half a unit on it, but that was like, why is that price there?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Like I am towards the end, I decided to just parlay up Pena with just just in a random parlay, like nothing huge or anything. But it like whenever I was taping, I kind of just was like, I'm gonna stay away from this. Pena should win. But then whenever I was taping, I was like, Pena's gonna absolutely destroy this man.
Yeah.
And then you add kind of 4 years, but what was the TKO price?
Plus 375. Like Pena submission was like plus 200, and I was like,
Wyman can grapple.
KO is more likely.
Yeah. The KO is more likely in my opinion too. But Pena, I've seen people giving him a hard time at times, but I actually think he's pretty good. Like I'm not saying he's gonna win a belt or anything, but he has no holes. He has cardio, volume. He's got like tricky type of grappling that he uses his leverage well on. Like I don't like. I think he'll be around. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's kind of sort of, he reminds you of James Vick in a lot of ways, to be honest. But yeah, Yoda versus Kondo. I have no. Oh, yeah, Yoda grappled it. I was just trying to remember how this fight went because I had like no strong memories of it.
Yeah,
Yoda completely fucked her. That was very one side.
Yeah, no action there. It's just like a 30, just kind of just dominated on the ground, kept taking it there.
Yeah, happens sometimes. Ige versus Aguilar. In fact, it was last week. I felt like it was like weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ige didn't show the same cardio holds he has in the past. We're both on Aguilar. I don't know. I felt Ige outperformed Tape, to be honest. Like, a lot of people picked Ige, but they're picking him to sort of sub Aguilar in the first round or to dominate with grappling. I didn't see anybody saying that Ige was going to go deep and outcast him.
Yeah, pretty much. I think like moving forward, Ige was the value side, but it's just because it looks like he's a better striker, can compete there better than I thought. It was kind of just like the grappler outperforming striking tape type of example. Like Aguilar was actually, I thought, the better grappler, but then the striking edge I thought Aguilar would have, he didn't really have.
Also, the cardio. That was a big thing that surprised me from Ige. Like, I thought Aguilar had sort of shown decent cardio before in UFC, what Ige had shown as a weakness.
Yeah.
Also, a big one I had the under 2.5 at plus 200, and I thought that was valued. Like, you know what, 2 knockdowns, like 1 or 2 decent sub attempts, and plus 200 was crazy.
Yeah.
And even if he, pre-fight, the assumption of how Ige was going to win would be like submission round 1. So I figured, like, all right, I can get plus 200, and I should really have essentially covered a lot of my Ige risk.
Yeah, definitely. Going into round 3 because it was tied, I thought like we were actually in a good spot. Like going into round 3, like I was like, oh, we're good, and then all of a sudden, Aguilar didn't really press him in the first couple minutes. Where I was like, what are you doing? Like, go after him, like force him to make a bad takedown attempt, and you could even just get on top from that. But instead, he just didn't really do anything, and they kind of just stared at each other for a couple minutes, and then Ige landed a big shot, and then that was kind of the end of the fight.
Even that phase, it was like Aguilar threw a single punch, and Ego would respond with like 3 or 4, and I was like, all right, he's done.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin Holland versus Alessio Di Chirico. Let's get Kevin Holland to fight against Sapavek Safarov. That's my only comment.
Yeah. I didn't pay too much attention to like the fight. Like I kind of would come in and out of it, but I felt like the rounds were hard to score. Like I was
probably did get robbed, but if you're gonna stare at somebody with a fucking dislocated shoulder for 5 minutes and do nothing, you deserve to lose that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I before they even were talking about it on the broadcast, I had noticed Howland's shoulder come out. Like I saw him kind of try to like shake it out, you know, his shoulder. Like I'd seen the injury when it happened, and then they kind of like spotted it after round 2, and then in round 3, Alessio just didn't even do anything to like a clearly compromised fighter. So that was kind of weird.
Well, he switched it on for the last minute and took the round, but like he could have been doing things for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a very strange performance.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
I gave it to Chirico, like personally, but I was just after he did nothing for 5 minutes, I was just like, you don't deserve this decision. Like urgency.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of like Sukum Tao and Sean O'Malley, where it was like just bad fight IQ, just not taking advantage of an opportunity, I felt.
Pretty much. Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. Lee fucked her up. We almost had a main guard sub in the 3rd round.
Was that the
it was an armbar or something. She actually had decent position. I was on Lee and I was a little bit worried in the 3rd round.
Oh,
like, it wasn't
yeah.
She had the leg position.
I think De La Rosa also went for like a guillotine or a darce too. Like I remember both of them. I wasn't too worried at the time of the armbar. Maybe I have to rewatch, but I mean, you know grappling, so I believe you. But I was just, I don't know. It was kind of just dominant. I felt like that was really the only way Montana was going to win was a guard sub. So
yeah, Lee kicked shot of her. I don't know. It wasn't like it was a deep armbar or anything, but she definitely had the legs up, and I was like, oh, that's close. Like she didn't have it like deep, but it was definitely threatening.
Yeah.
Yul versus ADS. I don't know. Yul looked good in the fight. Still don't think he beats UFC competition. ADS had him out twice whenever he went for it. Plus 220 was a great line, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it pretty much went as I expected. I'm glad I hedged it, or I'm glad I arbed out. It was just kind of like Yul was the better striker, but it was like ADS could kind of compete there. But on the floor, I feel like if ADS would have just taken him down in the center of the cage, he probably would have subbed him because like that's some of the quickest advancing to mount that you're going to see in like the UFC, I feel.
Pretty much. And the only way Yul defended grappling was just like shoving him off. It wasn't like he was like technically escaping.
Yeah, he was like shoving him off, and he wall walked at times too to kind of get out of position because he was near the cage, and that's why I feel like if he was in the center, he would have just gotten destroyed on the floor. But I do think Yul's striking looked actually like a little better than usual, but I don't know. I'd have to like watch his previous fights, but I thought I was kind of impressed with some of his 1-2s, which we already knew he had, but I thought they were like faster than usual.
Yeah. I was a bit annoyed about my ITD bet because I was like, that should have been quite binary. And, Anderson Dos Santos did get hurt a bunch of times. They get mounted a bunch of times.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't finish. There was a lot of like opportunities there for that to finish. So,
Brown versus Barberena. I put a bit on Brown, but on fight goes to decision. And I was kind of like, I still felt like the over there closed at like plus 110, which I felt was crazy. Like, Barberena is usually insanely tough.
Yeah,
and Brown's never really been much of a finisher. Actually, Brown looked good. I had like a small play on Brown, mostly as a Barberena sort of knockout fade, I guess. But yeah, Brown looked great.
Yeah, he looked really good. I stayed away from this fight, and I hit Brown live after round 1 and 2. Like he was only like he was plus money after round 1, where he like clearly took the round, and Like, I think he was like plus 120. And then I think after round 2, which I thought he won again, he was like minus 150. So I was really surprised at those live lines. So I kind of was just forced to play that. But Barberena did, like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Brown. I thought he looked really good, but Barberena looked a little shop worn, I felt. I don't know. I just felt like he looked a little like slower. His cage cutting didn't look as good. I don't know.
Yeah, he used to have a lot more urgency too. Like I felt like towards the end of round 1, he started like coming forward, but he sort of stopped doing it for a bit. Like I'm not saying Brown being underdog after round 1 was silly, but on the other hand, but last minute of round 1, Barberena started actually coming forward, and I was like, all right, is this gonna be the pivot?
True. Yeah. I was worried about a pivot, but it was just kind of like, can Brown survive and keep a round or 2 close? That's kind of what was my reasoning. But yeah, like I get the bookies probably saw the same thing you were saying.
Like, yeah, I was confident Brown, but I just didn't want to add more because I was kind of worried about a possible pivot there.
Yeah.
KZ versus Moicano. I don't know. I felt concerned, but we're watching. You sort of see Moicano do the same, hanging out the pocket against the faster pocket striker. He did against Aldo, which got him punished. On the other hand, I don't think you can really take a huge amount out of that outcome.
Yeah, pretty much. I played a little bit on Moicano like towards the end, like nothing huge, and it yeah, I'm not like kind of like what you said, like there are hanging out in the pocket tendencies, but it was really only against Aldo, so it's not like you can completely beat yourself up over it. But like in a 5-round fight, you could probably think that that would happen at times. Like I'm not saying him getting KO'd, just like there would be pocket opportunities for Zombie. Yeah. So I don't know, but like it's hard to really know because it happened so fast. But Zombie does have like good. He's got some good exchanges in the pocket. I feel like
He does. I'm just not sure. Yeah, I had a bit of the overs, and I feel like that was kind of the out for the overs. I guess. I feel like there's a good chance if you saw, even Moicano's corner said that they were expecting a lot sort of a rangy decision sort of game plan, but they said they were supposed to be implementing it.
Yeah.
So I'm just, you run it 100 times, so I don't necessarily think you see that sort of instant knockout that many times.
Like the fact that Moicano was able to kind of dominate Calvin Kattar, for the most part, like I feel like he should be totally capable of doing that versus Zombie as well. So I don't know, but at the same time, like Moicano is he kind of seems like someone I would want to stay away from in the future because you don't really know exactly how he's going to strike, So,
yeah, agreed. Like after that Stevens fight, it looked like he was like, even Stevens and the Kattar performances looked like he was putting together like elite fight IQ, but he kind of does what he did against Aldo and Gazi.
Yeah, he didn't fight smart versus Aldo. Like I really think against Aldo he could win that fight easily, especially the way we saw Volkanovski kind of do it. He kind of fought like an idiot there, and then here this happened really fast though, so I won't be like too hard on him. And I still want to give like credit to Zombie, like he still took advantage of an opportunity, but it was just really quick. I mean, it happened within a minute, so.
Yeah, great. And also, I think Zombie versus Stevens that might happen. I'll be down to watch that.
Yeah. Zombie's got a lot of fun matchups. I'm excited.
Yeah, inherently, and even like Zombie versus what's the name of the steroided up gorilla from Team Alpha Male? Got destroyed by Stevens. Knocked out Johnson in the third round. Emmett. Zombie Emmett would be fine. Zombie versus Emmett versus Bektik winner would be fine. There's all sorts of fights.
Yeah, for sure.
Moicano, he's kind of now in a career pile, but then again, he can still always come back. I think probably his best path would be to try and reinvent himself a lightweight.
Yeah, I think he just needs to follow a game plan his next fight because he's clearly capable. I mean, if you can do what he did to Calvin Kattar, you can clearly get back into the mix. So.
Yeah, true. I think he sort of lacks a bit of explosive speed at
Yeah.
featherweight. I think you look at his height, he's only 5'11", 72-inch reach, which is decent for lightweight. But it's not like he'd probably have to reinvent this sort of style, I guess, at lightweight.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, Zombie should have some fun fights. All right, so on to Ngannou versus Dos Santos, which is in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Maurice Green versus Junior Albini. I have to say I am ride or die with my boy Junior Albini after successfully fading him against Andrei Arlovsky, the greatest bet of all time. I got like a unit on our like I'm tipping this, but because the prices are no longer there, I'm not really too concerned about it. I put a unit on Albini at plus 130. And like I don't know, I just feel like Albini has kind of underperformed his last one or two. He actually looked good against Lanik before he got the pulled an Ezekiel choke pulled on him, which I don't think is something you can really prepare for.
Yeah, especially if you've never really felt it, because I don't think there's many heavyweights with that level of proficiency in a Ezekiel choke, you know. So it's hard to just like kind of bring in training partners who can do it with the skill level of Olenek. So
it's like if you're in the gym practicing jiu-jitsu and there's one guy who just specializes in some random meme shit.
Yep.
And like after he's done it to you 3 times, it's fine.
Yep.
But those first 3,
yeah,
you're gonna get fucked.
Like I have like I kind of have like a wrestling based approach jiu-jitsu game. You know, I'm like a top guy, and I do have a really good guillotine, and I've caught guys who are black belt level who I really like. I can like with black belts, I can generally just like play the defensive game where I don't get subbed and they don't sub me, or like I don't sub them, they don't sub me. But I have caught some in like a guillotine, and it'll work like one time, and then they're ready for it, type of thing. You know, they know my setup, they know just kind of like the angle that I use on it, and then it doesn't happen again. And that kind of reminds me of like Olenek with this Ezekiel choke, where I feel like kind of like the phenomenon you're talking about with Albini.
Yeah, like that's why I actually took over him against Lanik, because I was like, all right, over him is actually trained with this man. Over him has experienced his 2 tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
They should not work.
Yeah, he probably got tapped in it like one time, or he just didn't get tapped and he was able to stop it, and he kind of knows what it's like now.
Yeah, pretty much. So on this one, I think Albini's a bit more dynamic here, a bit higher upside. Maurice Green, I don't know, he just seems slow. He's very big, I'll give him that. This is just low level fights. I got the plus 130 mostly on just sort of pre-tape knee jerk. The line's closed since, so apparently I have agreed with the gods, but I have no real deep reads here, apart from feeling Albini's kind of underperformed lately, and it's Maurice Green's winner barely edging. What's that guy's name?
Jeff Hughes.
Jeff Hughes. He even looks like a Jeff Hughes, doesn't he? This is gonna be a mess of a fight, but yeah, I think Albini plus 130 for 1 unit is a terrible play. How do you feel about this?
I don't really have strong opinions on who's going to win. I think it's just going to kind of be a close fight, but the over 1.5 is something I'm eyeing. I haven't decided yet, but like I don't think either of these guys have like crazy power, and I kind of feel like there will be a lot of clinching, kind of like a lot of Greens fights, and a lot of the fight with Hughes ended up there, and Albini pushes people up against the cage a lot. So I could just see this kind of playing out a little bit, but I haven't decided on the over, but it's just something I'm kind of eyeing. But as far as money line, I don't really have any strong opinions. I could see either guy winning.
I think Albini's actually, his power is not bad. Like even against Lanik, against Johnson, against Tim Johnson, obviously knocked him out. But even against Lanik, he hurt him pretty badly before he got maimed.
I think it's because Olenek's super. I think Olenek's super hittable though, where I think Green can kind of use range, especially early until he gasses out. Like if you watch him kind of against Hughes a little bit. But I don't know. Like I don't feel like huge, very strong. Like I might not even play the over, but it was just something I kind of noticed. Like I don't think Albini's got some pop. He's a heavyweight, but I don't think he's got like crazy heavyweight power.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But I don't know. Like I don't really. I probably won't touch this fight, to be honest.
Whitmire versus Rebus. I bought a bunch of Rebus at plus 240 and upped it because the line went crazy, but I have no strong feelings at this point.
Yeah, I think Whitmire should win. I taped it. I do think, though, I think Rebus's like overall jiu-jitsu game is pretty good for a women's MMA fight or for a women's MMA fighter, but she isn't really good anywhere else. And I mean, when you get knocked out by Polyana Viana, it's not a good look. I do think the only line that's really caught my eyes, which is a really off line, is Rebus by submission at plus 725, which is ridiculous. And like Whitmire's been guard sub like 4 times in the last 5 years, just so people know. And Rebus actually has like a pretty tight jujitsu with her guard. And you can't really like I feel like there really won't be many resting periods for Whitmire when she's on top, because Whitmire sometimes likes to play that takedown game and kind of be on top and kind of bully you from there. But she isn't, I don't know, she's just not like a super advanced on the ground, I feel. And Rebus actually is a pretty good guard. And I took a look at her some of her EBI fights, but I don't really care about the money line, but I might take a stab at Rebus by submission because plus 725 is absolutely off. That's the only way I see Rebus winning, to be honest, is by submission. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, nothing really else to say about this.
Yeah, like I won't have serious action on it. I just might throw like $50 on her by submission, but I'm not going to be like risking my night on this one.
I see that a Tuesday night contender fight has somehow made it onto the main card next.
Did you
Why
tape?
is this in the UFC? I still haven't got around to I still haven't got around to taping the Quan. My bad. I've heard it's great, but I've had multiple people message me now telling me the Townsend tape is beautiful.
I watched like one of his fights, and it was just kind of what you would expect. It's just kind of like a regional fight. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna eventually detail tape this, but I don't really have strong opinions. Yeah, like you said, this is just kind of. It's kind of. I don't know why this is here. I wish Ledette was still fighting him.
Yeah, I was very big on Ledette because Ledette is huge, and Doucher could probably fight a middleweight. Like,
yeah,
there's probably like Usman's probably not much. Is Usman smaller than Doucher?
I don't know.
Doucher's only 5'10".
You said Woodley?
No, Usman.
Oh, Usman. Yeah, Usman's like 6'1", right?
Yeah, Usman.
Or 6 feet. 6 foot. Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if Usman was the same size as Doucher.
Yeah.
Would you take Usman? Actually, Usman definitely over Doucher, but yeah,
absolutely, I would.
Honestly, I mean, there's quite a few light heavyweights I'd take Usman over, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't see why not. Like if he just kind of didn't cut weight and weighed like 200 pounds, I would take him over a ton of light heavyweights.
Yeah, even like I'm trying to think which rank, like even the ranked light heavyweights. I think probably some decent ones you could beat. You could beat Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro beats himself.
Like he would beat Shogun.
Yeah, Chow did it. So even Krylov, I could see that happening.
Yeah. I think size matters, but I think size is sometimes overrated.
I think Sergeyov probably beat him.
Yeah, I'd have to think about it. Because he can actually like maybe negate the grappling, but Usman's cardio is absolutely insane. So yeah, that'd be fun. Random hypothetical light heavyweight matchups for Usman.
Usman vs Walker, main event next. I'm very down for that. I would be down with that. Yeah,
I would take Usman. I would take Usman over Anthony Smith.
Mate, no. Anthony Smith was the fucking goat.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I mean, but
Anthony Smith would somehow outguess.
He would out cardio Usman. Yeah.
Usman would go fine for like 15 minutes, but just with 1 minute, just drop.
I like Anthony. I like Anthony Smith though. Like I don't like I think he's fine. I just think like, and I think he's really improved. Like I like him. It's just he's getting a bunch of back takes, and he can flatten out guys who randomly just don't know how to grapple. And like, I think Usman would just out wrestle him and destroy him. But
I think Smith would just lull him into a false sense of security and tap that fucking bit, tap him out. Yeah, so
Smith.
back to Doucher versus Daquan. I hope one of them gets a TNC contract this week. Why is this here?
Yeah, let's just move on. Like, I don't care about this fight.
Gordon versus Dan Murray. This fight is also for Tuesday Night Contender contract.
I like Gordon's game at times. Like, he's fun to watch. But yeah, like, I'm not playing him at minus 325.
Yeah, same here. I'm just about the same opinion, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that win over Diaz, but that win was weird because Diaz just kind of completely cardio dumped his entire soul. Like, Hakon was beating him for the first round, I remember.
Joaquim Silva?
No, Hakon Diaz.
Oh, Hakon. Okay, yeah. So, sorry, Hakon. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Because I had a fairly big bet on Hakon. I was like, all right, first round he looked good, but he just cardio dumped at about 6 minutes, like really badly.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, I don't really value Gordon that highly as a prospect or anything, but he should beat Dan Murray. Was this like the original booking, or was it supposed to be fighting somebody else? No, it was original booking. I'm surprised that's the original booking.
Gordon TKO plus 380 looks somewhat appealing. I'll take a look at it later and think about it, but that just did pop out to me because I think Moret's a little chinny, and Gordon at least is wild as fuck and will crack, you know?
All right, so Griffin, honestly, you could probably just take like the 3rd to the 8th bout here, and there'd be a perfectly fine TNC card.
Or it looks like an LFA card.
Paul Craig is too good for fucking LFA. They could not afford to pay him what Paul Craig needs to be paid.
I actually think a lot of these guys were all like LFA guys. Anders, Menefield, I think Moret too. Yeah. I pretty much feel like I'm just watching an LFA card. But yeah, Griffin Murdoch. I taped. It's kind of lack of tape on Murdoch, but like Griffin's actually not bad. But
yeah, kind of agree. Murdoch seemed pretty bad, so Griffin should win, but there's just not enough tape to be able to make any conclusions either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I have to like kind of tape up on a few more fights. There's probably like 3 or 4 I have to kind of tape up on. But I looked a little bit at Murdoch, and he was just kind of like a low volume striker. And he would kind of get takedowns every now and then. But Griffin's not bad, so it is what it is. I'm not betting him at minus 400 though.
Murdoch's win by groin strikes might help him here, so maybe that's
yeah.
All right, so on to Vinicius Moreira versus Eric Anders. Here's our boy. So, I mean, will he be this May? Actually, no. There's going to be one favorite diving into a random guard sub this card. Is it going to be Anders or is it going to be Menefield?
It's going to be Anders. It's going to be Anders. I think, yeah.
That's the only way Paul Craig can be stopped. You have to dissipate the energies first.
I think this line is probably too wide. I need to tape Moreira's grappling, but like I'm not. I got burned betting Anders against Roundtree because he randomly decided just to stand there and not do anything. But in this fight, yeah, like I mean, it's like a sprawl and brawl path, and I don't know, like. Anders' fight against Tim Williams was super concerning. Like I don't think Moreira getting a takedown in a sub is out of the question, but he's also like not that good either. I don't know. These fights are all just kind of like fuck this type of thing.
Yeah, agreed. Eric Anders is too big a favorite, but he should win. But he shouldn't win. But fuck it.
Like I get the line. Like I don't know. It's whatever.
This is all TNC bullshit. This is like my TNC issues. Like, all right, he's minus 800. He probably shouldn't be minus 800. But the other guys know.
And there's people betting him, and they're probably going to win. And like, even though they shouldn't win. And yeah, I don't know. But eventually that minus 800 is going to lose. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Ramos and Newson. I think I said before we started talking about this card that this card is not bad, but now I'm like, fuck. But there's some good fights at the top of the card, at least, that are kind of fun.
I think some of these fights will be entertaining. They're not going to be good.
Yeah. Agreed. Like they'll be entertaining. It's just kind of like juice favorites that probably shouldn't be this high of favorites type of thing.
Actually, just quickly before we move on, Santiago should have gotten the contract on Tuesday Night Contender this week, correct? Santiago filled me with immeasurable joy.
Which one was Santiago?
The one with the silly haircut. He got beaten up by the bald Cuban-ish wrestler.
Oh yeah, yeah, the guy with the silly haircut. I remember now. Yeah, we should have given him the contract. I honestly don't think I would have given any of those guys contracts.
I'm confused how Baszler got the contract. He seems so uninterested. I would have given it to the middleweight Daukas, because the middleweight's a dumpster fire, so why not?
I honestly thought Daukas was the best fighter on the card.
I felt that Gonzalez had the most UFC potential.
Oh yeah, Gonzalez, yeah. Like Daukas, like I won money off a couple props in that fight, but I actually he outperformed. Like I thought he was gonna win, but I was like maybe thinking about playing the money line of the other guy. But I thought Daukas actually kind of looked better than I thought he would. I think it was more Lombardo gassing, but I don't know.
Lombardo just seemed to gas in about 3 minutes, because the first 3 minutes Lombardo was like landing at will on the striking. But
yeah, he pretty much just gassed. Yeah,
it was actually weird. Like if Lombardo hadn't wrestled, I think he would have taken that easily. When he tried forcing the wrestling and holding him up against the cage, he just seemed to burn a lot of energy.
Yeah, I think he kind of would have probably burned energy just striking too, because I don't know. I can't trust that gas tank. Like if you're a lifelong wrestler and you gas in like 6 minutes or whatever it was, that's just kind of strange. I feel like he would probably just gas striking too.
Yeah, true. All right, so back to Ricardo Ramos versus...
Back to the other contender series card.
I had Jenny Newson doesn't seem bad actually, but Ricardo Ramos is still decent. If I had to play one of the dogs in these contender series fights, I would say Jenny Newson. But
yeah, agreed.
I'm not going to, but yeah, he seems okay. He seems competent.
Yeah, if anyone listening in the comments has any other fights on Newson, like put them in the comments. I found 2 of them, and he didn't look bad. Like he actually looked like he was kind of athletic on the feet. And these were in 2016, so he's probably improved. I don't like to always assume improvement, but he's probably made some strides, I would say. And he's also like a pretty good wrestler, decent grappler. And I don't think Ramos is particularly like good. Like I think he's fine, you know. So I could maybe smell an upset here. It's just I don't have enough tape, you know.
I can see Newson's submission of plus 1300, which I don't mind.
Yeah, like Ramos was subbed just a couple years ago, on the regionals, and I don't know, like Newson's not bad. Like he's pretty athletic. Yeah, I don't know. The under's kind of like enticing, I feel, at plus 155, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I agree with that.
I'll think about it.
The bantamweight unders seem to be weird, because like they seem to like set the unders, the over-unders based on sort of weight classes and thing, but bantamweight just seems to have a lot more finishes than the rest of the other sort of small weight classes.
Yeah, I agree.
I know, can usually find good like value unders at bantamweight more than other weight divisions.
Yeah.
All right, so on to main event of the evening: Paul Craig versus Alonzo Menifield. 3-3 UFC light heavyweight is a massive underdog to a guy whose best win is... Fuck, none of these wins are good, so...
Yeah, I mean, Paul Craig fights are kind of like an MMA betting event because they're amazing. And he gets 10-8 rounds, like he gets 10-8'd in every single round, or he gets a triangle. Yeah, so can he get it? Can he get a triangle? That's pretty much the question we need to answer.
Paul Craig is currently Paul Craig's submission is plus 600 on my book, which doesn't seem right. So I'm hitting that.
It's plus 500. Wow. Like I feel like if you play Menafield minus 300, like you're not gonna like win a ton of money doing this, but I feel like it's kind of bulletproof if you play Menafield minus 300 and Craig's submission plus 500. I don't see how you can't come out positive. But then Craig will probably just be an asshole and randomly like get like a TKO or something.
Or Menafield will get disqualified for something, maybe.
Yeah, or Craig gets like a triangle in and he pounds them out with elbows when he has a triangle in, just something hilarious to where he can fuck everybody. I've never played a Paul Craig fight though. So.
Menafield spends literally 3 rounds in the triangle. That could happen.
And then Craig gets a decision. Oh man.
Paul Craig is one of my boys, so I can't bet against him. I love. God. It's just poetry saying Paul Craig lull people into a false sense of security to tap them.
So like the Kennedy fight, his last fight, that one, even though it kind of happened late and stuff, he was threatening with a lot of triangles. Like I felt like there was kind of danger, and Kennedy's super green in the grappling. So I think like even though it happened late, I think that outcome is repeatable, if that makes sense. Even though I still think like Craig loses that fight the majority of the time. But the Ankalaev one was the one where it was like, what the fuck? This like Ankalaev is so much better than you, and he actually like has good submission defense. But for some reason, you just got in the submission, and Ankalaev insta-tapped. That was the one that was just crazy, I thought.
Look, if John Jones fought Paul Craig, what would you cap Paul Craig's submission at?
Like plus 5,000. Like I don't think he's gonna get a triangle. Like I don't.
He's got an armbar. Look how long his arms are. Fucking Vitor Belfort managed it. Vitor Belfort has no heart. I'm Paul Craig, the pride of Scotland.
Paul Craig getting a guard submission against John Jones is under 1% in my opinion.
But it would be probably one of the greatest moments in UFC history.
Yeah, it seriously would. We need Paul Craig against like other guys. We need Paul Craig, Anthony Smith. That would be awesome.
Paul Craig versus Safarov to fight Anthony Smith.
Yeah.
Tyson Pedro can be in there somewhere. Actually, Tyson Pedro versus Anthony Smith. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like, I have faded Tyson Pedro the entire way up, but I think he's going to actually look good when he returns.
Yeah.
By Tyson Pedro standards, for 2 minutes before hilariously losing the fight.
Yeah, I'm not very high on Pedro, but I don't know.
All right,
that fight for Shogun was like concerning, but yeah, like I mean, this is kind of like play Paul Craig by submission or don't play him. Like I don't know, like I don't think I'm gonna have any action here. I think Menifield's probably gonna kill him.
I feel like Pedro Shogun. Like if that fight had been stopped in the first round, which should have been stopped, it would have been just looked like Pedro kicking the shit out of him. You get what I mean? It's always the issue of like quick stoppages. They can cover like massive holes.
Yeah, that could have ended, and it could have just been like, "Oh, Pedro's amazing" type of thing. But because it happened to go on and he got finished, everyone think, yeah, I get what you mean.
All right, so yeah, Paul Craig submission, max bet. Come on.
5 units, Craig submission.
Mate, 5 units Craig submission, 5 units Craig submission round 3, 5 units Craig round 3. Bet the mortgage. Red Panty Nights. Alright, on to Dobro versus Reyes. That should be good for... Actually, these fights, despite being shitfests, and very one-sided shitfests, seem like they'll be entertaining. Like, I'll be enjoying my Paul Craig fight as long as it lasts.
Yeah, the fights will be fun. This is another one. I think Dober's probably too big of a favorite, but I think he should win, and I'm not going to touch it. Dober also has a wrestling advantage as well.
I like fight ends by KO at plus 130, just because they both sort of swang.
Yeah,
Reyes hasn't got much of a chin. Dober, it's fairly hittable, but Dober should walk it. But yeah, mess of a fight.
Yeah, Dober's improved though. I think Dober's like actually gotten pretty decent. So,
He did kind of just edge what's his name
Camacho.
edge Camacho, and the Dariush fight I think was at least like 50% Dariush just not being able to take any punches anymore.
I agree.
Like I played Dariush there, and that was like a miracle bailout to the highest extent.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could have the confidence in Dariush to pull off easy lock wins like Paul Craig, but
He
that
also
worked out.
lost. I think Dober also lost to Nick Hine like 4 years ago, and I don't think that would happen anymore. Like I feel like if you just had 2019 Dober, he would destroy Hine now.
Yeah, because I find it weird Dober lost that fight because Dober's usually been good for volume, and Hine is just not good for volume.
Yeah, which is really you'd think it would just be an easy like mathematics fight where he just lands more.
Yeah, I had to rewatch that. Actually, onto a fairly serious bet.
Yeah.
Roberts versus Pichel. Why is Roberts minus 300 here?
I don't know.
Like he looks okay. He looks interesting. Pichel is, he's a decent mid-tier lightweight in my opinion. And yeah, it's hard. He's not like distinguishing himself, but like he's sort of in that like middle class spot. And Roberts is really sort of having his proper UFC debut here. Gifford shouldn't even be on TNC. And Daryl Horcher, I like the guy, but after the motorbike accident where he sort of exploded, he's no longer, he barely edged the fight against Horcher barely edged the fight against Devin Powell. So Roberts beats a guy who barely edged Devin Powell, and Gifford, Gifford would struggle to get into LFA, I guess. And yeah, Pichel's competent. So why the fuck are you minus 300 when you take that big a step up?
Pretty much. It's like Roberts is kind of like if you watch kind of his fights before the Giffords fight, he's kind of a guillotine hunter and like a rear naked choke guy. And those are kind of really his only submissions. I think his striking's super green. And what I saw against Giffords was that he can throw kind of athletic exchanges, but I don't think he's a guy who can fight a composed striking fight for more than just like a few exchanges at a time, if that makes sense. Like I feel like if Pichel can force him to stand a little bit, I feel like Pichel's the better like 15-minute striker, if that makes sense. Like full round striker. Where I feel like Roberts could maybe land something and then try to have to go for a takedown, like mix it up, if that makes sense.
The grappling, I don't think Roberts is anything insanely good. Like, he's nice comp to guillotine dude, but he's not, Rustam Kavalov or Gregor Gillespie.
Exactly. Like I think it's possible he could get a guillotine or a guillotine here, but Pichel's actually like pretty schooled on the floor. And like I think people just saw Gillespie do what he did. They think Roberts can kind of just like repeat that easily. But Gillespie had to work to do that, first of all, and Gillespie ended up making it look easy because it's fucking Gregor Gillespie. And like I just feel like Pichel's I think Pichel's a better striker.
Yeah, great.
And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Pichel got his own takedowns. Like I've seen him get takedowns before, and they're actually pretty decent. And Gifford's got Roberts down. Like we haven't really seen people test Roberts wrestling other than Gifford's. And I feel like if the fight plays out, I just feel like Pichel can maybe grind him there too. I don't know. I do want to tape a little more, but minus 280 is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I personally cap Pichel at like a small favorite sort of area. Like Roberts is young, so he still has the upside, I guess. But nothing I've seen from him has really gone to me. Oh fuck, this guy's a future top 15er, or like he's going go anywhere. It just seems okay.
Yeah, like if if I throw like a unit on Pichel and lose, it's a unit, and you could potentially get triple your investment back. And I honestly think this might be a fight where it's about 50-50.
I'm sure there'll be somebody day after the fight coming to us with their Roberts, Minifield, Anders, parlay, and I think it's a genius play.
And it cashes for like minus 130.
And Roberts wins, and one of those guys wins a split decision.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like I'll probably be playing Pischel here. I do want to tape a little more. Like I'd tape for the part, but I want to see a little bit more of Pischel. But I just don't think Roberts is like, I think Roberts is fine. But I think
interesting.
I've seen people who like aren't even who I like think are fine cappers claim he's a top prospect, and I just disagree.
Yeah, that's pretty much my view. Like, I don't think Roberts is like not UFC quality or anything, but I just
No.
think he's to be minus 300 against Big Pichel, you have to be kind of I expect to see that out of a blue chip. Like, what was Gillespie against Pichel?
I think he was something pretty similar.
He was plus
minus.
So Pichel was plus 325, so probably about minus 400. I'm guessing.
Gillespie was at minus 230, and it actually stayed around there for a while, and then it closed. Like a lot of late action came in on him at minus 650, so he closed really.
Tapology has minus 400. BFO probably
or minus 370. Oh yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it was somewhat comparable to this.
Yeah, and Roberts is no Greg Gillespie, to be frank.
No, not even close.
Like, maybe he shows some upside and he does look dominant, but there's just nothing on tape to suggest that minus 300 is a sensible play here.
Yeah, like I think maybe he could get better because he could improve or something. But just like right now, like what I've seen from him, I just don't think it justifies this line.
Yeah, pretty much. On to Demian Maia versus Tony Martin. So Anthony Rocco Martin, as he insists. Yeah, I'm probably going to live bet Martin if he can survive round one, depending on how the grappling goes. But yeah, Maia's got a good chance just tapping him out pretty quickly. Even Sergio almost had him like twice.
Yeah.
And Maia is, Moraes is also a late grappler, but Maia is on that sort of tier, and Maia is stronger and more. Like, Sergio Moraes forgets that he's an elite grappler all the time, whilst Demian Maia remembers that he's an elite grappler.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Maia slows a bit, Tony Martin can definitely stick him in the end of a jab and just work him. I think that's definitely very possible. I like Tony Martin a lot as a prospect. Demian Maia is just kind of this weird fight, isn't he, really?
Yeah, pretty much. I like Martin a lot. I've cashed in on him like once or twice over the last like 4 fight run he's been on. Yeah, like I think he's really good. I just think like if you want to play him, I think live betting is the way to go, just so you can mitigate the early Maia sub. And because I feel like his main win path is to get out grappled early and then kind of maybe survive and then take the last 2 rounds or something. I think Maia's going to win though. I think Maia's probably going to sub him. But yeah, I feel like the pre-fight play is probably Maia, and you could always live bet Martin. I'll probably play Maia inside the distance because it's plus money and plays out pretty well, and I think it's just like got a good chance of happening. So yeah, that's kind of I did a video on this if people want to see more details, but that's kind of like my overall summary on it.
Agreed. Maia's pretty good single leg. He's what's his name? So Martin's shown some susceptibility in the past.
Yeah,
and Demian Maia just kind of this weird fight because like he's ranked number 10 at the moment, but he can beat some guys, not beat others.
Yeah, I rewatched Maia versus Gunnar Nelson, and like Maia doesn't really. I feel like the way you tire out Maia, I kind of talked about this in my videos. If you have like a working back to your feet game to where you're constantly making Maia work, or if you play like a jiu-jitsu game where you'll play like guard a little bit and you'll kind of use like jiu-jitsu based concepts to get back up, I feel like that's not as tiring. And Gunnar was kind of using like jiu-jitsu based concepts to try to get back at times. Where against like Rory McDonald, Rory's always working back up. And I feel like that's kind of more draining to hold someone down. And I think Martin kind of plays more into the jiu-jitsu based scramble type of game where it isn't as tiring to hold someone down and it's more skill to hold someone down. And I don't think he. So I just don't think he. I think he might not tire Maya out because Maya didn't tire at all versus Gunner or really Matt Brown even. And I think they're kind of more in the tier of Martin as like a jiu-jitsu based type of grappler. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of just like what I was seeing on trends on tape.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, it's just even my experience as a top player, just dealing with somebody who's willing to just go nuts and make you work is hard, even compared to guys like willing to be more technical, but just like slowly get up. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just going to react and it's pain in the ass.
My initial lean was to play Martin. Like I was like, oh, I'll play Martin here for sure. And then once I saw, because I was thinking of the Rory fight. And then once I saw Rory, I was like, oh, he's a lot different. And I think he kind of showed that versus Neiman too. Like Rory's a scrappy fucking grappler. And he's got like a lot of wrestling type of things in his game. And he's just hard to hold down. So he's like always working back up. But this is an awesome fight, though. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, same here. Like the top end here is not bad. That's it. You know, it's weird to me. I just don't get why JDS Ngannou is main eventing over Formiga Benavidez. Like, swap the two fights and you get so much better, in my opinion. Speaking of which, Formiga Benavidez. I kind of like Formiga as a dog here.
Agreed. It's a close fight. Like that's kind of really all I have to say about it. If I were to, I probably won't play. If I do, I probably will play Formiga. It's a close one. It's a really competitive fight. This is a fun one.
Yeah, I think it should shape up to be a very good fight. Formiga's improved in leaps and bounds and standing. I found it interesting in the first fight. Benavidez had no interest in going to the ground with Formiga, so interesting to see how Benavidez specs Formiga's grappling.
Yeah,
I think Joe B is definitely slowing down. Like his grappling is still elite, but his striking, like his first round striking, is okay, but he just seems to slow down a lot as rounds go on.
How do you see the striking going here? That's kind of like.
I think Formiga will be more competitive than the first time, but I have no idea. I'll probably wait till live bet to see how it goes. I think Joe B will probably win the first round in striking because he has that weird sort of darty, blitzy style.
Yeah.
The issue is Joe B, you need so much energy to make that work.
Yeah,
like, he doesn't really have a jab, or like he doesn't really just like he's either kind of throwing himself in, or he's doing nothing.
Yeah, he's kind of in and out. Yeah, and Formiga's striking has improved, but yeah, from the grappling, I kind of just see like a few things in both of their games where I kind of see like advantages for both guys. If Formiga can slap that body triangle in, that could be bad for Benavidez because Benavidez did get it like Ortiz got a body triangle in the second round and won that round because of it. So that's kind of concerning for Benavidez. But at the same time, like you can lay in Formiga's guard if you kind of just go with like a pure wrestling approach. Ray Borg did it, so I could see Benavidez doing that. So I just see the grappling is kind of each guy could do something, and then I don't know about the striking, man. Like your guess is as good as mine. So I just see it as a close fight.
Yeah, actually, Benavidez Ortiz was a really underrated fight, wasn't it? Just remembering it.
That was a really fun fight. A lot of scrambles. Yeah, I liked it.
If we can get a repeat of that, I'd be very happy with that fight. Like, I'd honestly rather see Formiga Benavidez over 5 rounds than JDS versus Ngannou.
Yeah.
And if it was 5 rounds, I'd actually back Formiga at that price.
Yeah.
I just Joe B's style, it requires. I mean, he's never really had great cardio, even his 5-rounder against Mighty Mouse. Yeah, he gassed out badly in the first one. First one? First one. Yeah, the second one he got knocked the fuck out. And yeah, I hope Formiga wins it. I'm leaning Formiga as a dog, but not really strong enough conviction or tape to really go in yet. I think there could be some good live betting opportunities.
Yeah, I think I'm going to live bet it because I feel like scrambling type of fights like this, which I could see it happening and kind of back and forth. I feel like you can kind of just guess where the judges are going to go with like recency bias and things like that. And it's sometimes the live lines don't take that into account. So I think that's kind of my strategy is just to kind of see if an opportunity comes.
Yeah, agreed. Alright, so JDS versus Francis Ngannou. If this was 2-3 years ago, I'd probably be taking JDS at this price, but the amount of trouble he had with Tuivasa and with Lewis, like that
Yeah.
Lewis fight, there was clear, like, as I was listening to Heavy Hands earlier this week, and they were saying, alright, so JDS usually body jabs from the outside effectively, and then he doesn't do it against Lewis, and it's just like, well, if JDS just ran a cautious, probing outside game, he could actually beat Ngannou fairly easily, in my opinion. I just don't trust him to do it.
Yeah. It's a weird fight. Because you obviously get reservations whenever you see JDS getting hurt in his last couple fights. And then at the same time, like, yeah, like I think Francis KOing him early is probably going to happen. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't really want to play Ngannou here because if you kind of just look what happened versus Lewis, like, I feel like Ngannou likes to counter a lot and JDS. It's like, will JDS give him those opportunities? Like, what if JDS just becomes cautious too, and then they kind of stare at each other for a while? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird fight.
Yeah, if I could trust JDS to 100% fight to the right game plan, I'd be on him here, like, quite significantly. But I was just like, Lewis' fight was really like, it was really the same IQ test, and he kind of failed it, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
he beat Lewis, but he had a lot more trouble doing it than he really should have.
Like at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if JDS just if like JDS survives, he could really box Ngannou up. But yeah, kind of like I get why you'd be hesitant on him too. I think the line's honestly just accurate. That's kind of what I think. I also think if you want JDS, he honestly is probably going to have a lot of early danger anyway early. So you would just want to live bet him, because
Yeah, great.
Like the main risk is Ngannou getting a KO in 1 or 2. And so why wouldn't you live bet him whenever you could maybe get the exact same line and you don't have to worry about the KO anymore?
I don't think Ngannou's KO will necessarily go away because of
Yeah.
Ngannou strikes.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
if JDS, because the issue with JDS, I just don't trust him because I feel like even in like 3rd or 4th round, he feels like he's got Ngannou worn down. Benny rushes in,
Yeah.
and he just gets head removed, and I'm like, oh fuck. I can just picture myself in 2 days being like, oh fuck, I go. The outcome I could see coming happened.
And JDS doesn't push the pace in the same type of way that will really tire Ngannou out as bad. Where Stipe was mixing in the perfect game plan to tire out Ngannou, and Ngannou still stunned him in round 3 or 4. I forget which round. Like,
I think it was 3, but yeah, even
outside of the window, you would expect Ngannou to get the knockout. That's what I'm saying.
And Ngannou, since he was on his back for essentially all of that fight, had a lot less windows to do it. While for JDS, you got 25 minutes of just of JDS just might die.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if JDS had taken out Lewis the proper way, where he just like calmly, slowly from the outside pries Lewis apart, jab by jab, I'd actually be playing him at this price because I'd be like, all right, he just showed the blueprint, but Lewis is really the exact same blueprint, but less powerful and less quick. And JDS kind of just did it the hard way for no real reason.
Yeah, pretty much. It's I think, like, I don't know, I try to act like sometimes I'm the bookie. Like, what if I just haven't seen these odds yet? What would I cap? And I would probably put Ngannou in the -200s. Like that's probably where I would put him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's kind of just whatever.
I think there's fringe value on JDS, but not much. Yeah, I'm curious, what's the line on JDS decision? It's gonna be the thing where, like, after like a round or two, you can just hit JDS decision and make a bunch.
It's
like,
plus 615.
Yeah, so like even let's say JDS like takes round 1, you can probably still get it for like plus 400.
Yeah.
And if the pace of the fight doesn't seem to be contributing to it doesn't seem to be leading anywhere, you probably got a decent shot.
Yeah.
That fight, it's kind of a meme fight. I do wish you get Formiga Benavidez instead of this, but yeah, it's decently fun night of fights. I'll be happy to see Your Ngannou, Roberts, Menafield, Anders, Doucher parlays. Please forward them to my inbox. I'm very happy for that plus 250, that plus 150 you just made. But
yeah,
it's just but this is like TNC logic for most of the card.
yeah. I'm honestly not going to probably have that much action. The things I'm eyeing is just like some type of maybe like play on Maya, but I'll probably play like his inside the distance, so I don't have to risk that much. And I'll always like be eyeing the Martin live line. And then I was thinking about Pischel as well. Yeah, and then I'll just like pay attention to unders and overs. I haven't really decided on them. Maybe one will pop up that kind of catches my eye, but I think overall, like this kind of reminds me of last week where there's a bunch of like favorites in the minus 250 to 350 range where I think they're probably too big of favorites, but they probably win. So I'll probably just stay away. That's kind of like what this card reminds me of.
Yeah, that's right. Like I usually have about 20 units a fight, 20 units an event, and I've currently got 5. I've got 6.25 units at the moment. I can't really say much else.
Well, you have 15 units waiting on Paul Craig, so you'll have 20.
Yeah, true. No, I've got some Craig submission in there.
Yeah.
You can't deny it, Craig. I mean, it's gonna be rough sailing for 13 minutes, but that 14th minute is gonna just be great.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I'm gonna roll, but good stuff. We'll talk about the Jones card next week. So.
Oh, it's next, is it? Yeah, that's a decent card.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Holm. Actually, I do like Holm decision. I'm just gonna say that right now. But yeah, all good. Thanks for listening. See ya.
Cool. See you, man.